Don't you realize? Our parents, they want the best of stuff for us. It's our time.
I so much want your understanding. I want your respect.
Oh, come on. It can't be that bad. I'll do it with you.
Okay, potato chips, other salty snacks.
Good advice. That doctor obviously knows what he's talking about.
Butter, heavy cream, cheese.
Gone? Makes a lot of sense.
Alcoholic beverages.
Okay, that doctor's a quack.
I knew the food would be bad.
Sorry. You're unusually limber this morning. I'll say.
And then we practiced high kicks. Watch. You!
Hey, Melt-Off Podcast fans, it's UrzaMaster. Welcome back to the Melt-Off Podcast. I know it's been a long time. This is our 11th episode here, notably absent Goonie Mama. We're still, as you can maybe see around me, working on getting the studio set up here for recording the show. But I wanted to give a quick update here and drop a little new content. I know we haven't had a lot for a while. Here in pending rebrand, we've got the Melt-Off Podcast, the Warp Core Podcast, and shorts from time to time, and more shows hopefully to come. As far as checking in on the journey status here, we are in a new house, which means new studio, new challenges that come along with that. I, of course, look quite different, being now going on 6 months removed from surgery, and Goonie Mama is now 6 months into her journey. Lots of changes come with moving houses, come with going to a completely new city, new state in this case as well. We're closer to Goonie Mama's family, farther away from mine, although I do have a lot of family who are relatively close by the extended family range, so that's nice. But settling into the house pretty well. We're getting there. The struggle, of course, now is finding the time. And we've talked about time on the show before. Finding time for yourself, finding time for family, finding time for your goals when it comes to weight loss and your journey, just being healthy. I have to say it's been some struggles here and there. The good news is the biggest struggle actually came before the move for me. And if you've been following the YouTube channel, had a brief update after that where I was in the ER, then out of the ER, then back in the ER, and ended up having an upper GI bleed that thankfully resolved itself. I did need a blood transfusion, and it was pretty scary there for close to a week when Goonie Mama was out of the country in Mexico on vacation. A little mama's getaway while I was home with the kids. Unfortunately, I did have family there to back me up and take care of the kids while I was laid up in a hospital bed, stinking up the joint for a few days, but literally one of the scariest things I've ever gone through. The good news is that healed up. I had to refocus, get back to the very, very basics, and really learn to follow the rules of post-surgery life. So for those of you in the gastric bypass program or bariatric program, please follow the rules. The first 6 weeks, you are really, really susceptible to complications after surgery. No matter how good you feel or how capable you think you may be for tolerating certain foods, the fact of life is that you're just not ready for quite a few things, and the more you poke and prod, the more things could happen. So really take your time. I do regret not taking more time up front just to heal and feel really better overall before taking things on like a big move. But at the same time, just serendipity. We, as a family, have always done things all at once, whether it's major surgery or moving or, getting married, buying a timeshare in Mexico, all kinds of wild stuff we've always done all at once. So, update on my journey. I hit a new low this week, 6 months out, 241. Weight I have not seen in a great many years. Even dug out my box of shirts, my t-shirts that I'd been saving from over the years, some of them just as mementos that I wanted to maybe one day make into a little blanket or something of remembrance, or honestly just hadn't figured out what I wanted to do with. And I thought to myself, I haven't tried any of these on in many years, and a couple of them never fit. Most notably my spring camp shirt from 2007 when I was teaching English in Fukuoka, Japan. Like the first time I went to Japan, they gave us t-shirts to wear, sort of our wardrobe, uniform, if you will. More of a token memento than anything, but they never fit. They were Japanese produced t-shirts for Japanese people. I was a large American male and really not my body type that they made that shirt for. And I will say it's short because I'm a little taller now, and even though it fits, it's not quite long enough. If I do one of these, it raises up into my midriff about this far or so. But really pretty proud moment for me. It had to be washed. It's been in a box for 16 years, but it fit. And that was, obviously clothes have been fitting differently. This shirt used to not fit. I bought it as a goal shirt when I was on Noom, and slipped it on after I bought it at Target, and it fit okay, but the first time I washed it, it didn't fit anymore, and I knew that was going to be the case. So, for me, that was always a big struggle, is finding clothes to fit, going shopping, whether it was school shopping when I was a kid, or as a young adult, trying to buy clothes that fit so I didn't look like I was just wearing whatever rags I could find, which is honestly the case. It's what I was always wearing. That's why when I found something that fit, I bought a bunch of it, because it's like, well, this fits and this I think looks good, so I'm going to go with it. And part of my original motivation for getting on the bariatric program, aside from health, was that I really wanted to be able to go into your average department store or clothing store and just pick something off the shelf and be able to find my size without having to find something with a large number in front of it, 3, 4, 5, who knows, and have it be a common enough size that I could just go in and just not have to worry about, do they have the extended sizes, how many of them are there, do I have to buy a random color, or wait until the clearance racks have like that one shirt that's $3 because nobody bought it because it's some crazy oddball size, which I still have a lot of that, because I have to say I'm frugal for many reasons, some of it being that, like, not made of money either. I can't just go out and replace my entire wardrobe every time I change sizes, and for right now I've changed several sizes rather quickly, so I have to be cognizant of the fact that, like, I am only 6 months in. Even though I've changed size tremendously in 6 months, I really have a long way to go yet in my journey. After having moved in, we don't even have a proper workout station set up. I've not been able to get on the elliptical at all since we moved in. I've gotten plenty of exercise hauling boxes around, but the last several weeks, as that's starting to dwindle now, I have to get kind of creative. It's oppressively hot outside. It's summertime, and to be quite honest, I don't care for the heat. So me going outside and going on walks is short-lived. Plus, in the heat, heat stroke, dehydration, very easy, often come hand in hand, and hydration can be tough. I routinely have empty bottles or empty cups around me because I have to be drinking something like all the time. And sometimes I hyper focus at work and I forget that I haven't had anything to drink for a couple hours, and I notice that my head's starting to hurt. I'm getting those dehydration symptoms that you really have to be cognizant of post-bariatric procedure, because it's very easy to dehydrate, very easy to run into kind of the everyday mundane issues that they warn you about over and over and over again throughout the program. You're like, I get it. And then you get beyond surgery and you're like, yeah, I'm drinking water all the time. It's like, I'm constantly thirsty. How could I be dehydrated? It's like, well, because you're not drinking enough water. And I have honestly gotten to the point where I feel a little too comfortable with not carrying around a 64-ounce jug of water until it's gone and then saying, okay, now I can relax for the day with my water intake. I am a little too lackadaisical. Now I focus very heavily on eating, foods with high moisture content, or, drinking enough throughout the day, whether it's, little 12-ounce bottles of coconut water-based things that are supposed to hydrate you faster, or using hydration boosters. I'm a big fan of Liquid Death water. I'm not getting paid to advertise them. I just really enjoy their product. One, because I'm a big recycling guy, and two, because quite honestly, it's good water, and it's. I don't like plastic bottles. I don't like having them around. Partially because of the environment, and also partially because they're honestly kind of hard to stack in a fridge and keep them cold. These are cans. I've got, the old beer fridge now holds cans of water and juice boxes for the kids. So it's like, it's a nice transition to have and make. And, it's forming these new healthy habits and lifestyle changes that, they're very small things, but they're tough. The flip side to that is too, as my body has changed and my absorption rates are different, and my appetite changes, and I wax and wane from how much I eat from one meal to the next, or one day to the next. I mean, some days I feel like, wow, I really ate a lot today. Like, I really hope this doesn't stretch my pouch or, undo all the progress. And then the next day it's like, geez, I can't eat anything. Like, I get so full so fast. And it's like, yesterday I ate, 3 soft boiled eggs and a whole thing of, ramen noodles. And I eat bulldog ramen, by the way, which is higher in protein. And, typically a package of that is almost, with a couple of eggs, is like almost half my day's protein intake. And when I say a sitting, I think we think of the pre-surgery lunches that are like 10 or 15 minutes. Like, no, this takes me a very full hour to eat, sometimes more than an hour, depending on how busy I am at work, especially if I'm eating it for lunch. It may take me 3 or 4 hours to eat an entire meal's worth of food, because I realized partway through, it's like, I'm not going to be able to finish this in the time I allotted for lunch, even if it's a full hour. But I want to finish it because I don't want it to go to waste. So I'm just going to eat it as like my snack. And the thing is, I've never been a snacker. Now I kind of have to, because I can't eat the volume I need to eat to get all my nutrition in a day. So I have to eat a handful of nuts every couple hours, or a little bit of some kind of a high protein snack every couple of hours to keep myself not just from feeling hungry, but like to keep myself where I'm getting my base macros in a day, and I'm getting enough nutrition to actually not lose what little hair I have left. Although I'm hoping some of this does bounce back, but let's be honest, it's not there forever. And fellas out there, if you're really worried about that, hair is not an important thing. Bald is very cool these days, and you can always buy a wig, which I'm very open to if it comes to that, which it may. But it's very challenging, and there have been times now, not many, but probably 3, 4, maybe 5 different times, where I've had hypoglycemia issues, where it's like I feel my sugar crashing, and then I take stock of, what did I eat today? What didn't I eat today? If I eat like Oikos 000, I love it. I've absolutely fallen head over heels for it. It's very easy to digest, goes down easy, helps me get my protein in. It's got moisture content, so like it's not completely draining my water, so I'm super thirsty after eating it or anything. And honestly, it's quick. Sometimes the prep time, I only get 25 minutes to really eat my meal in the morning, and it's like I have to eat because I need to eat with my medicine, and I have to eat because I need to eat, period. that's a very convenient thing. So I kind of always have a stock of it now. And I really actually enjoy it. And I never really, I liked yogurt before, but it was not like something where I ever thought it would be a staple of my diet. And now it is. I eat it all the time. Not every day anymore necessarily, but frequently enough where it's like, yeah, I gotta buy it. If I'm out of it, it's on my list and I gotta go to the grocery store within a day or two. Likewise, it's like with the hypoglycemia thing, like I gotta keep some sugary snacks nearby. Buddy bars. Shoot, I've got a empty container right here. I don't eat them every day, but maybe every other day or every couple of days I have a package, because it's like I just need, I have that moment where it's like I know I need a little bit of sugar. I can just feel it. And I recognize, like, the early stages versus like, oh my gosh, I'm like shaky, what's going on? And it's like, oh, I didn't eat anything with any carbs or sugar today. Like I should probably eat some. Or even if I did eat carbs, like the Bulldog ramen noodles are relatively low in carb, compared to like, regular starchy like Maruchan or Shin ramen noodles, or like a macaroni and cheese or something, where you're thinking like a pasta, like a spaghetti. They're not as heavy in carbs, and some days I don't even eat all the noodles. I eat the eggs and I eat a good amount of the noodles. It was like, oof, I'm full, I can't finish. I'm going to eat the protein in here, the nuts, the eggs, and I try to eat the seaweed to get the vegetables, because I was trying to have seaweed with it, because I miss sushi a lot. I haven't had it in a long time, and that's just one way I can kind of curb that craving. But yeah, it's just goofy, the things that, I've found that I need to have on hand, because if I don't, and there have been times when I haven't, I go into this weird sort of binge mode where it's like, I need to eat. I need to eat a lot and in a hurry. And it's like, I know I can't do that, but I have this like physiological driver that's like, hey, you need to put down some food because you're shaky and your stomach's growling. And like, I know I haven't met some sort of nutritional requirement. I don't necessarily know what it is because I don't track, because I don't need to anymore. I know, because I kind of eat the same thing every day, like I'm hitting the targets I need to hit. But sometimes the body needs something that you just didn't think of. And sometimes that's carbohydrate. Sometimes it's a little sugar. And you just got to have something on hand that can hit you quick, because if you get shaky, you may find yourself in a bad spot. And I know from being a diabetic, like, you don't want to mess around too much with low blood sugar, just like you don't want high blood sugar. And it becomes a real challenge to kind of recognize the difference between the two. But I know from having my A1C tested at my normal intervals that I have for diabetes, like I'm well below even pre-diabetic with my A1C now post-surgery, which is phenomenal. I could not be more beside myself happy. When I got those test results back, I was absolutely thrilled. Uric acid levels pre-gout or lower, to the point where I was like, I'm never going to have a gout attack again. And luckily I had a little colchicine on hand, because it was only a couple weeks after that I banged my foot against something, and sure enough, the next day I was like, God, it's still sore. That's weird. I don't think I broke anything. And then it started to swell up in that spot. I'm like, that's right on a joint. This triggered a gout attack. What the hell? And that's just the weird, tricky way gout is sometimes it's not your uric acid level. It's just you've been predisposed to gout, and you traumatize a joint, and there you go. Now it's swollen. And yeah, the colchicine took care of it, so I knew it was a gout flare-up. But, the weird thing is, like, just the way the body changes. And, there's going to be physical, size differences. Like, I look at my arms now, and I'm not ashamed. Like, I've got a little bit of the bat wing, like it's loose skin, but, I've got muscle definition where there was nothing before. It's not traumatic, but, look up here, or like I look at my hand and it's like I see there's more of a dip in places than there ever has been before. My fingers are physically smaller. They're still capable. I still have the strength there, but just looking at myself in a mirror, or when I'm laying down, like when I'm sitting, I still feel kind of fat. I mean, I have to be honest. I still see a belly, and I almost feel a little defeated. But then when I lay down, like I see ribs, and I see like a drop off, like I'm looking at a riverbank, and you just see like there's a dip, and I can run my hands, and it slopes inward and down towards my pelvis, where it's like I don't remember the last time that happened. I honestly can't even. If I had to pick a year, maybe like 2002, it's 21 years ago that I can remember that like my belly would actually settle in so far that it was below my rib cage, which is amazing. It's a huge positive feeling, but at the same time, it's like it creates this kind of weird dysphoria where it's like, when I'm sitting up, like I still have like a dad bod. When I'm laying down, I have like a flat, like sloped in tummy. It was like, I don't know what I want out of my body at this point. I don't know what it's going to look like in 6 months. Putting in the effort that I should be putting in every day. I mean, I have started lifting a little bit and, moving around with the kids and kind of doing some of the things I did before when I like physically didn't feel well enough to do formal exercise enough. Now it's more of a space thing. I just don't have my stuff set up where I want it to be. It's very close. The elliptical is coming in the house this weekend, and it's getting hooked up and it's getting used. Likewise with the weights and the rest of the stuff that's still in the garage. It needs to get moved into the house. And it's going to go in an area where it's going to be very comfortable. It's going in our lower level where it's cool all the time, where I can work up a sweat and I can have that formal exercise that like my body almost craves now, which is weird for me. Like I have never once ever felt like I need to get active. I need to get some motion in my day. Like I've always felt like, I just want to slug out. I want to just eat. Now it's like, I don't know. If I sit too long, I get restless. I get goofy. Like I need to like get up and stretch, and I do it. And it's just like this automatic thing now. Where it's like, geez, this is weird. Like, is this me? Am I like, do I crave this exercise and motion that I'm not getting? And when I go out and I mow the lawn now, and we have a bigger lawn than we did before, just acreage-wise, I guess, but it's still not a huge lawn, but there's a little bit of a hill to it. Not as dramatic as the old house, but I can mow the whole lawn in the heat of summer, and I'm not out of breath. I'm thirsty, because I'm always thirsty, but I'm not out of breath. It's not like I don't stop the lawnmower from time to time. I have a bagger, so I have to stop it. But then I have to carry the bag full of grass, all the way to the backyard, no matter where I am in the yard. I have to carry it all the way up a berm and then dump it at the top of the hill of the berm in the ditch, which it's not like a dramatic incline or nothing, but like I do this probably 10 or 12 times as I'm mowing, around 3/10 of an acre, quarter acre, something like that. And it's in the dead heat of summer, so it's like it's not like it's cool outside where it's like a comfortable mow. You only really get a couple comfortable mows a year, let's be honest. Where it's like cool enough and there aren't a lot of bugs. Where you're like, this is pleasant. If it was like this every day, I'd mow every day. But even despite all the things that should be tiring you out and making you want to go, whew, shit, like I'm exhausted. I don't want to do this. Like I have full energy. Like the last time I mowed, I went and worked in the garage for a couple hours afterwards, and just I didn't feel the need to slow down and like sit and drink a bunch of water and then maybe eat something and take a long break like I used to. Like I just felt good. I felt energized around it, and that was very different from me. I went kayaking briefly, but I got into a kayak. I mean, I was, first of all, not too heavy to where I couldn't get in the kayak. I was of a weight that was below the weight limit of a kayak, which I know it sounds a little odd, but it's like, it's legit. It was not like a big man's kayak or like a big fancy one that can tolerate, a heavy load. It was, 250-pound weight limit, and I was below that. That has not happened for me in a very long time. And I love kayaking. That's the thing, is like I was really thrilled to go out and do it because I love being on the water. It was, I was at Guys Weekend. It was a beautiful weekend to be out and paddling around and just enjoying the night air and hanging out with a buddy of mine, my best friend, and like, just getting some time in. And the rowing, like, it didn't tire me out. I was never out of breath. I'm not the best kayaker in the world either. But I could keep up. I could row myself around in the water and really got enjoyment out of it in a way that, if I'm being honest, I don't know that I've been able to do ever in my life. And these are the things I'm discovering about myself. It's like, maybe under all these layers of, subdermal, fat, like, there was a person there that really wanted to get out and do a lot of these kind of active things that was physically withheld either by size or by weight limits or what have you. And here I am now getting to enjoy life and in ways I haven't been able to in the past. Likewise, I have to say, and I know this might come off as shallow, but I promise you it's not, and I'm just relishing in the fact that this has never really happened for me before, is like, I actually appreciate the positive attention I'm getting, either from the people who are noticing the biology change here, or like the physical change, like, they're noticing, like, wow, you've really, like, physically changed and you look good. Like, it feels good. It feels good to hear that on an emotional level. But just like being out and about at the grocery store or at Target or something and having people smile at you and notice you and actually, like, acknowledge your existence. I mean, I feel like there are some people at the store, like, you just pretend they're not there. And I always, I kind of felt like that. I loved the self-checkout because I didn't have to go through a checkout and feel like somebody was ignoring me or intentionally trying not to make eye contact with me. Whether I was being nice and happy and smiley and, asking them how their day was as the checkout person, which you should definitely do. Because it's just nice coming from a retail person. Worked it for close to 10 years. Like, it feels really good to have somebody ask you, hey, how's your day going? You're the one here scanning stuff off of a belt. Like, how are you? Because it's not an easy job. I know it seems like a high school kid's job. Believe it or not, it's really not that easy. You have dozens, if not hundreds, of people that you have to serve every day and smile at and pretend that you don't not want to be there. It's tough. So, for them to, like, go out of their way and engage with me in conversation and smile at me and genuinely seem like I'm a person that they don't mind looking at in the day. And I'm not I'm not saying like I'm some great looking guy now. Like, I still look as goofy and weird as I did before. And in my eyes, I really haven't changed all that much at this point anyway. But it's nice. It's just the subtle little things that, who I was before, I didn't experience. Yeah, even if you're trying to be nice to somebody and smile at somebody and make conversation, like, if they don't want to look at you, like, you notice that. And sometimes it's like, you don't take it personally necessarily. Like, you write it off as, oh, they're probably having a bad day or they work a shit job and they don't want to engage with you because that's just because the day's crappy or because they don't want to be doing what they're doing. And you kind of like, yeah, I get it. I worked retail. I get that. But then all of a sudden, like, maybe you notice them interacting with, let's just say, more attractive people. Let's just be honest about it. And it makes you feel bad. It's like, wow, that person didn't even give me the time of day, and then somebody who's maybe not even objectively more attractive, let's just say on equal standing in all other ways except physical size, and it's like, wow, that makes you feel shitty in a hurry. And that's not right, and it's not intentional. I really don't feel that that's intentional. I think that is an accidental conditioning of just, oh, I don't know that I want to, broach whatever conversation with this person because, who knows how that might turn out, but at the same time, it's like, you don't want to feel like you're forcing, yourself to converse with somebody that you don't want to, because you don't want them to think that you're forcing yourself to do it, because then it's like, well, why are you forcing yourself to talk to me? I'd rather you just not talk to me, than feel like this is a forced interaction because you feel bad for me. It becomes precarious for the person put in that situation. And these are the things I contemplate as I'm like just analyzing the fact that it's just nice to feel like people are genuinely good and nice out there. Whereas 70 to 100 pounds ago, I didn't necessarily feel that all the time. Like, there were definitely some people who appreciate like just a jolly fellow or a jolly gal or a jolly, however you choose to identify yourself. They just appreciate that. A good, positive person. I'll be honest, it's very hard to be positive when you feel like crap all the time. Either because you're of a certain size, or because your knees hurt, or because you feel out of breath and you're like, I shouldn't feel out of breath, I'm not that big, but you really don't realize how big you are until you realize it. When we were doing Noom, Goonie Mama and I, we did these waist beads, which I thought was kind of hokey and weird, and I'm like, why do you want to do that? But okay, whatever. We had extra beads. I'm like, well, we're not going to waste them because I'm not a waster. And I found them yesterday, and I'm like, wow, these are my waist beads. They've been stretched out a little bit because they should just be all beads. There should be no visible like elastic string, and there's a little elastic string visible on mine. So it's like, all right, well, if I twist this off and just hold the beads where they would have gone, they don't even sit on me at all. I mean, they used to sit real tight across, like, just below, like, the breast area, across my breastbone. And that's where my belly began, and, like, rounded out. And, like, at my best on Noom, they sat there and maybe sagged ever so slightly down a little bit below my breastbone. But now, like, it's like a hula hoop. Put it over my head, it just drops straight to the floor. Like, I literally had to, like, hold it to myself to, like, even see, like, well, how many inches of this, are hanging free, and it's a considerable amount. And it's just astounding to see, like, how much of me is just gone, from a physical standpoint. And Goonie Mama and I were watching some cell phone videos because her phone got to the point where it was too full. And there's this video from Christmas, or before Christmas, before our second was born. And, Linnea and I are playing in our old living room, and playing The Floor is Lava, so we're like having to step on things, and it's just kind of a goofy thing. And she does the little obstacle course, and then of course I have to follow her, and I'm looking at myself and I'm going, ugh. Not that I'm like revolted by myself, like I still love myself, of course, but I'm looking at myself, I'm like, the first thing I know is like, I still have that shirt. I have that shirt, and it's tight in this video. I mean, it's like not form-fitting tight, but like you can tell like that's the appropriate size t-shirt I should be wearing. But it fits me like a cone, like a dog cone on reverse, where it's almost like a dress, where you can see like where my belly ends, and there's like a gap between my t-shirt bottom and my pants. And that's like, clearly the shirt's long enough, it just doesn't tuck back up under because it's not tucked into a waistband, and like there's a muffin top there, like it's the belly is preventing there from being a flat. And it's just like, it's astounding to see because I have that shirt, and if I put it on now, I mean, it feels like a nightgown, like a muumuu. It's enormous on me. I still love the way it fits, and I'm cheap, so I don't want to get rid of it. And it's a Green Bay Packers shirt, so I'm like, oh, I'm not getting rid of this. Like, whatever, it fits me like a dress now. I don't care even if it was a dress, I'd still wear it because it's like, I paid for it, it's mine. Which is a little irrational, let's be honest. But, part of me is just like, wow, I really actually can't believe how far that I've come. Like, I look at the t-shirts I'm buying now, which fit with some generous room, because I don't aggressively buy small shirts. Like, I'm buying shirts that fit and are comfortable and have a little moving around room, which is still kind of the 2XL, but I fit into an XL okay. you know, and in 20 pounds, who knows? 40 pounds, who knows what I might fit into. I do know that I have some extra larges that my wife bought me for Christmas just before my surgery. Again, I had surgery in February. Christmas was in December, so 2 months ahead of that. A couple of those t-shirts fit perfectly. I mean, they're not too tight. I don't feel like they're form-fitting, like I look bad in them or anything. They feel like this is the appropriate shirt for me to wear. And I've worn them out in public, and it's like, wow, this is kind of amazing. Like, this fits, and it's only got 1X in the size, like 1XL. Like, that's really astounding. And the fact that, like, you know, Goonie Mama and I kind of wear the same size, like, t-shirt now, that it's like, aside from the way the fabric is cut, by and large, like, sometimes our shirts are indistinguishable. I've now found myself wearing her shirt completely without regard, because we have some shirts that are exactly the same that we bought because, you know, we work at the same place, and sometimes it's fun to be twins for a day. And we have some shirts that, like, are very similar, and, you know, to be honest, her style is very similar to mine. We're married. I mean, you kind of expect that in a way. And she's not exactly, like, wearing a sundress every day. Not that there's anything wrong with either way, but, you know, she's a t-shirt and jeans kind of person, just like I am, which is awesome and very simpatico, and I love her for it. But honestly, I could pick anything out of the closet and I could wear it, and for the most part, stuff's going to fit. Or it may even be a little big on me. Which is a weird place to be, because I'm close to a foot taller than she is. And, you know, I'm not, you know, saying anything about her physical condition. She looks beautiful, as always, and has always been. You know, and to me, the number on the scale is irrelevant. But I physically have changed so much that, to me, that's, like, astounding. It would have never happened pre-surgery. I would have never been able to do that. Hell, half of the shit in my side of the closet didn't fit. And it was mine bought exclusively for me. And when she was pregnant, she would dip into that portion. Didn't fit me, but it fit her pregnant. So, you know, I've kind of worked my way through that stuff now to, like, stuff from high school and a little before that. And I'm like, holy crap, like, this stuff fits. That's just amazing. And, you know, stuff that was really tight on me before is now, like, fits perfect. You know, once in a while, like, I get a little aggressive. I bought small size boxer briefs. They were on clearance because, again, I'm cheap. And they fit, which is weird, because if I look at, like, the waist size, it's like, hey, if you're you know, a 28 to a 32, like, buy small in Hanes or whatever they are. And I'm like, well, I'm a 30 right now, which is, again, a waist size I've not been since, I think I was, like, in 5th grade, and I was wearing, like, a 26 or a 28 or something. And then I, like, was probably a 30 in middle school. And I was, like, a 30 to a 32, and I was a 32 for a long time, and then a 34 for a long time. And then not until I was into college did I get to, like, 36, 38, 40. And 40 was, like, my adult size, where I was like, all right, I'm getting too big. And when 40 started to get tight, that was pre-surgery, but, like, well pre-surgery, that's when I knew I really had issues. And now when it's like, you know, 30s are comfortable. Not every brand is sized the same, though. And that's something I'm discovering, and I'm like, man, this is really annoying. You know, some, like Dickies. I'm a 30 in Wranglers, 30 in most jean sizes, but if you give me a 30-inch waist in a Dickies, doesn't fit. It's close, very close, but doesn't fit. You know, I'd probably be a 32 or 34 in a Dickies, where, you know, if I got a pair of Levi's or a pair of any other jean manufactured for men, you know, they have the relaxed fit or the carpenter fit or whatever, like 30. Maybe a 32 in some of the, like, the tighter fitting jeans, but, like, by and large, it's like, now I'm actually noticing the nuance of clothing sizes, where it's like, I just buy the balloon pants. You know, I need MC Hammer's pants and, you know, the big curtain of a t-shirt, and I'm good. That stuff's still comfortable, and I'm not knocking it, and, like, I'm not ashamed of that I had a lot of fun at that size. Like and I had kids at that size and got married at that size. Like, that to me is kind of the small stuff, but it's just interesting the things I've come to notice and appreciate and discover about myself and the world just through this transformation. And I, generally speaking, just feel good all the time. Now I've been stressed out at work lately, and I've been stressed out with daily stress of just life and living. Obviously, after a move, you kind of have like that period, hopefully, of where you've got like some extra money and you're buying new things for the house and you're getting like that retail high. And then inevitably, a couple months later, you kind of realize like, we kind of ran out of that little surplus we had. Now we're back to budgeting. And you have like that financial stress of month over month, and until you get comfortable again, with your mortgage payment or whatever, you just sort of deal with it. And there's a little of that going on. So it's like, but all in all, it's like genuinely a happier person. I feel more confident. I feel good. I feel good about life in a way that I've never felt good about life before. And I think that's something that if you are on the bariatric program, you likely share. Or if you're on a weight loss journey, you may share that. And that's something that, I don't think it goes unnoticed. There's the mental health discussion in this country. I'm in the United States, obviously. But the mental health discussion has gotten a lot more diverse, a lot more accepted, and that's great. And it has so much further to go. But when we're talking weight loss journeys, you can't discount the fact that your mental status really plays in a lot to your ability to lose weight and keep it off and feel healthy and good. And, it's not about the number on the scale or even necessarily the size you are. It's about your health. It's about how you feel about yourself. It's the quality of life and the longevity that you're looking for. And I finally feel really good about all those things. So for me, UrzaMaster, that is my melt-off update. I have melted off a substantial amount of weight. I now weigh a little over 100 pounds than the heaviest I ever weighed, which is a transformation I never thought I could achieve. And honestly, despite everything I tried, I couldn't have achieved without the surgery. I'm so grateful to my care team at Mayo Clinic Health System. I do now have other doctors that I work with because unfortunately I'm kind of far from a Mayo, and to justify an hour-long drive to get to the nearest Mayo is a little tough. I still go there in person for a lot of my care, but some of the more daily stuff I've gone to an Alina now, and good synergy there. A lot of their systems work the same way. Just amazing. My first doctor's visit with my new doctor was just like, wow, holy crap. Like, I'm looking at your chart and I can see that you've changed tremendously in the last 6 months. Like, that's outstanding. Like, keep it up. Which is really gratifying, and it feels really good, and just really reinforces the fact that I made the right decision. Because I think there's some moments, for me, it's a lot of foodish moments, but there are definitely moments where you're like, did I do the right thing? Losing the hair, like, did I do the right thing? The hair will come back. If you lose your hair a little bit, it comes back. It takes a year or more, but it comes back. For me, it's hereditary. I'm going to lose it all eventually, but that's okay. I'm not worried about that. But I did wonder, like, because I struggle eating rice, and I love rice. I love rice so much. Asian food has been really a comfort for me for a lot of years. So, like, having to give that up, essentially now for these past 6 months has been really a drag. The good news is that, with the ramen noodles and some of the noodle stuff, like, I tolerate that very well. Obviously, I can't eat the copious buffet-style amounts I used to, but I can still eat some of it. I can get the flavors in. I can build it in with high protein and healthy diet in ways I would have never imagined. So I'm learning to love life and food in a new way. And that's part of the journey of melting off. And part of this podcast's aim is to just be honest about things like this, and I can't wait to start getting more episodes out more regularly so you can hear from Goonie Mama and her perspective and her journey. My journey, I love to lay bare for really anybody who wants to listen. You know, at this point, if you take anything away from this that helps you, that's fantastic. And I really look forward to sharing more of my journey with you all. Appreciate you joining us. This is our 11th episode. Looking forward to the 12th. Hopefully we'll have Goonie Mama back for that. That's actually on me more so than Goonie Mama at this point because I have to set up a desk for her. It's going to be right next to me like it used to be. I just honestly haven't quite gotten there yet. I feel really bad about it, but we will get there. We will be delivering more regular episodes coming soon. Until then, again, if you're considering weight loss in any method or in any lifestyle change kind of way, talk with your doctor. You know, if you don't see your doctor regularly, you should. I know it's a struggle with insurance out there, but at least yearly. If you don't have insurance, if you have insurance, you have it for a reason. Do yourself a favor, get your levels checked, blood sugars, you know, blood pressure, you know, check on all that stuff because we're only here for so long. And if you have the chance and just need to melt some things away to be your best, feel your best, and live your best life, go out and do it. It's one way to treat yourself that you'll never regret. Thanks again for joining us. See you next time.